right, so welcome everyone. It's February 16th, 2021. This is Connors 1300 reading Los Angeles Community and Structure. We're honored to have Teri Rogers here today, who is one of the main protagonists in the video documentary that you have watched, Game Girls, that was, came out in 2019. That is now available on Amazon Prime. I just want to read a brief bio statement about Teri that Teri has graciously provided. Okay, so Teri Rogers is the founder and CEO of Breaking Stigmas, LLC, a certified peer specialist and advocate for those experiencing homelessness, mental health, substance abuse, and women's health issues. In May of 2018, she was featured as one of the two protagonists of the twice award-winning and 6 times nominated documentary titled Game Girls. Teri was born on the 13th of November, 1980, and currently lives in Los Angeles, California. She's the oldest of 4 children and the only girl. She would help her parents out around the house in which she grew, a passion for caretaking and cooking, and credits her family for instilling in her certain values that have served her well throughout her journey. Back in 2015, she stumbled across a flyer advertising a free workshop for women living in downtown Los Angeles, Skid Row area. Quoting, "I didn't know it at the time, but that moment changed my life," says Teri. Game Girls is a feature documentary about the hopes and dreams of 2 women living on the extreme fringes of contemporary American society. It sheds light on the unseen and unheard stories of Los Angeles' Skid Row, best known as the homeless capital of the United States. A dilemma fuels the tension between the two. This is what Teri says in her bio. A dilemma fuels the tension between the two, while Tiana, this is the other protagonist in the documentary, seems comfortable being a player in the underground economy of Skid Row. Teri is driven by a powerful desire to get out. So we're very fortunate to have Teri here today. Mimi Savage, who was the drama therapist director at the time, contacted me a few months ago and said that Teri is available. She's giving public talks. She is now advocating, and as I mentioned at the beginning, is an advocate for those experiencing homelessness and mental health and substance abuse. And she and I have been talking for the last month and a half. I'm excited to have her here today. I'm basically going to turn it over to her. We'll do a little warm-up drama therapy, kind of expressive art exercise, so that we can all tune in together and kind of connect on some basic breath and rhythm exercises for a few minutes. And then Teri will speak for a while, and then we'll turn it over to you for any questions or comments that you have. And I'm hoping that you do bring some questions or comments, about the documentary or anything that comes up today about you or your thoughts about the documentary as well too. So with that, I'm just gonna first turn it over to Teri, and then we'll do a little okay. So maybe before I turn it over to you, should we do this breathing exercises first?
Yes.
Okay. So let's do 3 breaths together. Okay, so all of us, we're just going to try to tune in together on the level of breath together. So I will be counting 3 inhale and 4 or 5 exhale. So this is, part of this trauma-informed theory that the exhale is what kind of soothes but the inhale is what ups your energy, and then the exhale is what calms you down and soothes your nerves. So what the idea was of connecting together on this level of breath is also to, yeah.
Inhale through our nose and blow out and exhale out our mouth, right?
Yes.
Inhale
Correct. Inhale through the nose. Thank you. So inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth, and also make a sound. Okay, so do a nice sigh. Like those of you who've taken classes with me before, I do this sigh exercise as well too. And feel free to do some, physical gesture as well too. So we're going to do, and then Teri actually is doing a drumming class. So maybe Teri, you can actually drum those 3 and the 5, like 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 together. Okay. So ready, everyone? We're going to start with the first breath, and here we go. Go ahead. Second breath. Exhale. Third breath. Exhale. Let's do a couple more. Thank you.
How did that feel, guys?
Yeah, no, it felt really good, honestly.
All right.
Awesome. And Teresa too. So yeah, so Teri, please feel free. We're just gonna, ask you to please talk about yourself, talk about what you do, what you're doing as an advocate today, talk about the film, whatever is on your mind. If you have any questions for us also, but you just have the floor at this point.
Welcome, guys. Thank you for having me. Pretty much, if you guys seen the film, I know it left you guys with a bit of a cliffhanger. So I kind of probably want to pick up from there to just give you an idea of how, what happened then and where I'm at now. As you guys know, I suffer and deal with mental health issues, along with substance abuse as far as drinking. That's my drug of choice is alcohol, which is one of the most dangerous drugs of them all. I've never gotten into heavy drugs. I've smoked weed. I've never smoked crack or done meth or anything like that. And I'm not judging anyone that has. I understand, but at the time, and I also was not in tune with myself. Even though, at that time we had just finished with the workshops. So going to the workshops is what kind of kept me balanced. It was a safe place for us to all meet. And that came about one day because I saw one of the flyers at where I was staying at one of the SRO buildings downtown LA. I'm just going to kind of give you guys a little backdrop and then bring you a little forward. So, as a matter of fact, I'm open for any questions you guys have, but I'm just going to try to brief you guys up on what happened. I was homeless. I was facing homelessness because I was living with family members, friends, and, I didn't have a lease agreement or keys to my own place. So that's one of the reasons why I started breaking stigmas because I want to break stigmas associated with not only homelessness, but mental health and substance abuse. And in this film, I kind of take everybody through all that ride because and so I want to. I'm happy. At first, we didn't know where this was going to go, but I'm very, very happy to see that I can be at least like the voice for those that didn't feel that they had a voice, or inspire somebody that maybe going through something like this, or have a family member or friend that may be experiencing some of these things. And so it all kind of started with me looking for a job. I wanted to be hallucinated because I felt, I worked in other different industries, but it didn't come with housing. Hallucinating, I felt, I can, manage this apartment and have a free apartment to be the manager, So that's how I always, thought in my head. But when I went to the jobs, I didn't look the part. I didn't look the part. And they're like, I didn't see myself the way that others saw me, And when you're not eating properly, taking baths, regularly, sleeping, getting your rest, it wears on your physical. So, and your mental and everything, along with all these other issues I'm dealing with. So, and unfortunately in our community, taking medication wasn't really too much accepted, or reaching out for help wasn't really accepted. It's like, all right, nothing wrong, you'll figure it together, or, something to come along, or hustle, or, this and that. And then hustling leads to incarceration, or death, and it just was all negative. And so I'm like, I wanted something in me. I want positive. I'm sick of this. You know what I'm saying? So, I went to look for this apartment and I got turned down, but it was downtown Skid Row. And so as I'm walking back to the bus stop to go home, my cousin's home, and it's, and I'm gonna touch on that too in a bit. But this lady, an advocate downtown, she tapped me on my shoulder, was like, "Are you homeless?" And I'm like, "No, like don't touch me." Like what I'm looking around. It's disgusting down here. Like, no, I ain't homeless. I ain't in no tent. I ain't homeless. And that second, my ego, I tripped. I'm like, hold on, let me apologize to this lady because in fact I am homeless. My name is not on this lease agreement. I don't have a key. If she's not there, I may not be able to get in. And if I am getting in, I'm about to sleep on her couch. So yes, I am homeless, ma'am. I'm sorry. I apologize. What were you going to tell me? At that split second, she said, well, I was going to offer you housing. We're doing a homeless count, this, that, whatever. I said, okay. She said, let's walk into my office, which happened to be the same direction I was walking in. And what stopped me was the light. And so the light turned green. And we went to her office 3 months later. I had housing. And so the thing about that was it was a lengthy process, very discouraging, because 3 months waiting on something unheard of. You're going to give me housing? Like, what do I got to do? So, and it's based on my income. And I didn't know that. I didn't know at the time they were renovating all the hotels down there and turning them into housing called SROs, single room occupancy, because there's programs out there for single mothers with children, but then there's not many programs out there for individuals without children. So, and then if there are, you have to qualify. But if you are on probation or parole, or you have drug cases, or you're a repeat offender, you don't stand a chance at getting housing. So that's part of the homeless epidemic. That's a big portion of the homeless epidemic. So when people don't have nowhere to live, where are they at? Either at a friend's family house or on the streets. And in their mind, they're not homeless because they have somewhere to go, but because you're not on Skid Row. You get what I'm saying? It's a stigma towards that. Oh, I ain't no bum. I ain't on Skid Row. But the thing of it is, Skid Row is really a melting pot for all people from different parts and walks of life. And a lot of people down there are not just on drugs or just crazy. You never know what people have experienced in their life. May have lost, their homes in a fire, or lost a loved one or a mate, or anything, just life in general. It's hard, So once I had to learn that once I got offered an apartment down there, and at that moment I'm like, I want to change my life. I don't want to be down here selling drugs, and then because if I go to jail, I'm gonna lose my housing, and then it's just a repeat cycle, and I don't want that to happen. So that's why in the film, if you notice, when I'm getting my hair braided, I'm saying I'm put on this side of Skid Row, staring at financial institutes, because one day I want to be a part of that rim of the world. Well, thankfully today I can say I'm at least reaching a little bit of that point, because I'm also learning financial literacy. I'm investing in the stock market and learning cryptocurrency and trying to understand different things. And I learned a lot of this during the pandemic, because I don't just use the internet for videos and BS. It's like a library. You know what I mean? So I watch tutorials on YouTube on how to do this, how to do that. What do I have to, so I constantly like to learn new things to help me to be a better person and trade these problems in for those problems. So, that's just a little bit about, and then so at the end of the film, that's when I got introduced into the workshops, staying at that apartment. It was a flyer that Alina, the director, Mimi Savage, and Kelly Parker, the producer, they got together and wanted to offer a safe place for women that were living in the Skid Row area at the time, and which was much needed, because when you feeling that low and down on yourself and there's not much help, where do you go? Who do you call? You know what I mean? So I wanted to check it out. They had different gardening groups that other opportunities. And I was involved. I was trying to be involved in as much things as I could to keep my mind, to keep occupied, and to keep from wanting to go backwards. So that workshop was right up my alley, because at the time I was also enrolled in Santa Monica College taking a broadcasting class. So, it was, the flyer mentioned something about filming and things of that such. So I'm like, yeah, let me go check it out. And from that first day, I was there every week for 2 years. And at the end, I'm like, this would have been an AA degree. You know what I'm saying? I could have gotten an AA degree had I, continued, at a junior college or something like that, But instead, I look at it like the school of the hard knocks. I was learning about me. I was learning. They created a safe place for us to do expressive drama therapy, expressive work. As far as that, I found that to be very, very helpful. The different techniques. Although I was clueless, I just kind of trusted the process, and from that, it helped me. But the work wasn't done. The work wasn't finished. You know what I mean? I wasn't fixed. You know what I mean? Even with me meeting with my doctors and being on medication, the work wasn't done. There's no magic pill that I could take that's going to fix me. Hey, I'm a better Teri today. I'm going to be this one. That's insane. It doesn't work like that. It works hand in hand. You have to be honest with your treatment team so that they can know how to work with you, and you have to take your medication, and you have to also do the work yourself. And that's the challenging part, but that's what kept me going. So, but once I moved away from Skid Row, once I finally got my housing voucher, and I moved, that was a big leap. It was almost scary, but that's what you want. I look at these resources as a stepping stone to help us to get into a better position. So once I was able to get into a better position and move to a better area, a lot of these resources were not available. So it was like I was out on my own. I just have to, I moved. Now I'll do this. So now I'm like, I have to find the doctors in that area. I have to continue my treatment some type of way, unless I'm gonna be back on the streets. And so I kind of stayed in tune, but the help wasn't out there. I'm gonna tell you like that. And if it was, I didn't know about it. I got into an issue, so now speed you up to after the film. I got into an issue. I was proud of my accomplishments, so I didn't want to call the homies, or I didn't want to call family members to come help me check the situation, because it always turned ugly after that, taking matters in your own hand. I kind of wanted to trust the system and call the cops, even though in our culture that's called snitching. But guess what? It ain't called snitching if I'm telling you I'm going to tell, and this is going to jeopardize my livelihood, my housing. I have to call the authorities. I have to let them know what's going on, because like it talk to these different housing people and all this. Every attempt that I made to diffuse the situation and get help went unheard. Okay, I don't know if it was because of the way I look, my sexual preference. I don't know. I don't know if it's just because they see this crap all the time and just don't really care. I don't know what it was. So it pissed me off, because it's like I'm asking for help. What it's gonna take for me to be laid out on the ground for me to finally get some help, So now I've been through all types of stuff. So I carry a legal knife on me because I'm a little woman. I've been through all kind of crazy situations, and I have to protect myself the best way I can. I don't go looking for trouble. I'm not a troublemaker. I mean, I'm the most. I have pets. I love animals. I love people. I love humanity. I love nature. I love me. I love, you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just how I am. But unfortunately, that's not how it is in this. When we living in poverty, that's not how it is in the community. So the authorities don't have no respect for us. So, and we don't have respect for each other. So it's a constant, and then the media plays more on it as well. And then, the list goes on. It's in the music, you know what I'm saying? It's there, So they glorify it, and they glorifying the wrong shit. Excuse my language, but that's just how I take it. And it makes it hard for people like me, you, or whoever else that really want to help, And so I had a situation. At the end of the film, I went to jail. I was fighting a 15-year sentence with 2 strikes, and they kept trying to bring up my old strike from the case I had in 2004, which in California, 3 strikes, you out. So I'm already 40 years old, 15 years, 3 strikes, 25 years of life. My life is over with. I'm like, no, I have to figure this out. I have to get out of here. So I went to jail May 9th. I bailed out July 8th. I read the penal code books. I mean, all my paperwork was in line. Every police call, everything. So when I was able to get out, and that's the difference. When you're able to get out and fight for yourself, it makes a world of a difference from being in the inside trying to, even if you are innocent. They hear it all the time. I didn't do it. Some people really didn't do it. Some people did. If you did, hey, you did the crime, do the time, my nigga. You already knew what it was. Sorry about that. You already know it was what it was. But if you made a mistake, we all make mistakes. So nobody is I mean, if there's a chance for you to get out because you made a mistake and there's treatment available, that's the route to go, And I look at it like, at the time I was under the influence of alcohol, I was emotionally torn apart. Mind you, I wasn't going to my drama therapy groups to release that energy, so I'm bottled and fueled up inside. Mentally, I'm all over the place. And I'm being sick and tired of keep constantly going through this same crap, and nobody's hearing my pleas for help. So this one day, I was being provoked, And I pulled out my knife. I said, hey, leave me alone. Like, back up. Like, you already know, like, back up. Like, I'm not about to be all, it's quick. And this is where I lived at. And it was my neighbor's girlfriend. Mind you, they had killed my dog, slid all my tires to my car. It's some bullying stuff going on. I mean, they did some crazy stuff. I have it all documented. But when I was in jail, they thought I was making this stuff up. So when I got out, because at the time in 2005, I was taking, I'm a certified paralegal as well, with ICDC, but that school doesn't exist anymore or whatever. But that's where I got my education from. So I'm like, I have to fight for myself. So when I got out and I gathered all my paperwork and had all the penal codes written up and all this, and I gave it to the public defender, he's like, damn, you just did all my work for me. I'm like, yeah, it's for me. I have to fight for myself. Everybody doesn't have that luxury. People are in jail every day because they didn't just pick up the penal code book that was sitting right there. They rather bicker over bullshit that don't matter, make us lose phone time. I mean, get treated like shit in jail for nothing when all we got to do is cooperate. I mean, that's a whole nother topic. But trust me, I didn't want to be there, and so I had to find my way to get out. And I fought my case, but one of the stipulations, I got that case moved over to alternative sentencing drug mental health court, and I was able to take a deal which was 9 months inpatient, which was at a rehabilitation center, and then 3 months there, 90 days there, 9 months outpatient. So, and mind you, fighting a case like this would jeopardize my housing. So I didn't want to go. I've come too far. I didn't want to lose my housing because I had to react behind lazy police work, and being judged because of my appearance, which is gender discrimination. So we could touch on that a little bit later too. So I went ahead and when we were there, a lot of people ran away. A lot of people, I looked at it like people go to school, away to college, universities, for 3 months for a semester to learn a certain trade or study. And I'm unfortunately at the school of hard knocks. I'm gonna embrace this and learn about me. And so with all those different daily groups, it was the most amazing time of my life, and it changed my life forever. It's like I died and was rebirthed with this new, I need to pick up from here. And to be honest with you, it was kind of devastating because I had to check in February 13th, 2018. The film was world premiered at the Berlin Film Festival February 15th. And I couldn't go because the choices I made earlier on and the lack of help earlier on set the stage for the platform for my future, which was that. And I missed out on that. So from that moment, I said, I need to start making better choices and seeking more help because I don't want to miss out on opportunities like that again. And, that was very painful for me. So I had to find another way. So I started writing a book to be more detailed about the film. I started this nonprofit organization to help other people as well. And, once I was able to get out, I had to do, progress reports with the judge. The judge happened to be Judge Michael Tynan, who sentenced Richard Ramirez, a Night Stalker, that is also on Netflix. He sentenced him to the death penalty. And so he retired, but he came out of retirement because he felt that there was a need in all the people that he's been sentencing. He saw that there's some mental health issues or substance abuse things that need to be, addressed. So he opened up this treatment court, and to offer people treatment. Now, the thing about it is, all that is nice and good, but it's an individual thing. See, some people will use that to get out of jail and run off, and you never see them again until they get caught. I didn't want to look over my shoulder for the rest of my life. I said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and embrace this opportunity and he got off of his stage and gave me a hug. This man just sentenced somebody to death, the death penalty. And he got off his stage and gave me a hug and gave me a little pep talk. And I thank that man to this day. And things like that matter in the community. Things like that matter. You know, not just punishment, but praise as well. You're doing good with this. Keep up the good work. Because a lot of people are not raised with that. A lot of people don't get that in the community. A lot of people, it's like, oh, you reading a book? That's dumb. Come over here, let's go rob this bank. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is, and it's sad, but that's what it is. So, you know, and if you say, no, I'm cool, I'm gonna just read the book, then you a punk. They're gonna bully you. They're gonna, you know, now your self-esteem is being, you know, because if they do pass on this lick, now they coming back with money, cars, you know. Now you feel like, damn, I don't got no money. So then now, eventually, you're going to want to be a part of that. You know what I'm saying? Or you got to thug it out. You got to have endurance. You got to have strength. Something that I have, and I like to share with whoever, you know, needs it, you know, because that's more important to me. And so I know I'm a little long-winded. Any questions you guys want to have, but just to wrap it up, that all of those things. So when I finally got released when I graduated from the program, I felt like, you know what? Just because the courts said I don't got to do this no more, I still want to do it. It shouldn't take for the courts to say, if you don't do this, you're going to go to jail forever. It shouldn't take that. And I liked what I received. So I reached out. I've looked for support groups. I'm staying active, you know, and that's what made me come up with Breaking Stigmas, because I feel it's a need. And I want to break the stigmas associated with mental health, substance abuse, and homelessness, and show people that it's okay. Be who you are. If you're dealing with something, I mean, even though, trigger warning, suicide is a touchy situation, I've experienced that before. I felt that low. I know the feeling. If I could save a life, hey, look at my story. Talk to me. I'll help you get through it. I have resources for you. That I feel like it's what's going on is bigger than me. And if I could be the voice of reason or help somebody else, I mean, you know, I'll take my email, my phone, reach out. It's help. Even if they're not advertising it, I'm gonna tell you about it, because that's what they don't do. They don't tell you, but it's an individual thing. You have to seek. You have to look for it.
Thank you so much. Wow, really appreciate it. So glad that you were able to come and speak to us. Yeah, I'm just going to open up the floor. Questions, comments.
I just wanted to start off by saying thank you with sharing your story and sharing a lot of, you know, personal details. I think this is a really big subject that a lot of us need to become more aware of. And definitely for Skid Row, I think everyone who lives in LA knows how, you know, that whole issue is still there. So I just want to thank you by, you know, really opening all of our eyes to it. Because even last night when I watched the documentary, I was watching it with my mom, and she works at USC. But the building that she works at is really close to Skid Row. So, you know, this gave her a really different outlook on, you know, yeah, she's in a building and she's working, but, you know, there's a whole different life out there that she and all of us will never really relate to or fully know. So I just want to thank you by opening up with that. And a question that I have is, you know, with the whole organization with Breaking the Stigma, and all that, I guess I'm just kind of asking you, what are your main end goals, and what do you pretty much want the future to look like with Breaking the Stigma? And, you know, is it providing more resources for those who don't have them? Or just pretty much, what do you want, or how do you want things to change for that whole situation?
Well, thank you, and I feel that what my vision I have written down in my plan is, it's kind of funny. we have to really watch what we ask for. You know, I wanted a while back, I wanted to open up a transitional home and this, that, or whatever. Well, by me going through this situation I just talked about with the jails, the 9 months outpatient, I had to stay in the transition. So to me, I'm like, I have to really go through it to see how to run it and what it takes, and how to do this the right way. So all these ideas came to mind, and I'm like, and then COVID came. So then I'm like, I opened up Breaking Stigmas so that I can offer resources, housing, whatever type of resources I can provide for people, and also open up a few transitional homes for people formerly incarcerated or need housing that are dealing with certain issues. But I don't want to just open up a transitional house. I don't want to have a house in an inner city because it's too risky. It's too close for people to still go and hook up and meet up in this. I want to take this serious and give them an opportunity to feel and receive what I was able to receive. You know, when COVID came, I said, okay, if I get a house somewhere, you know, let's say like Lancaster, where it's kind of open field, a couple of acres, I could possibly, I actually on my PowerPoint presentation, I'm explaining different therapy modes as far as horse therapy, wolf therapy. I want to be able to offer the same. I want to be able to be contracted with certain licensed physicians and counselors that can assist with these different groups and help these people to just learn what I learned. It's so, you know, I mean, just give people an opportunity. The ones that want it, they'll stay. The ones that don't, they won't. You know, but I want to be able to provide something to people that, you know, that are either facing it or close to facing it, you know, to prevent them from having to go so far down the road. You know, I just want to be able to open up to people and have vending machines on my property. So, you know, I know how stress is and late night craving, or, you know, I know how hard it is to really want to just stick through it. It's a lengthy process. It's a lifelong commitment. It's a lifelong journey. Again, there's no magic pill that's going to fix you. There's no magic person that's going to fix you. It's work. And I want to offer whatever the hell fix me, I want to be able to get at the other people. So I want to break the stigmas associated with these issues. You know, no, I ain't homeless. I could go stay with my cousin. No, I ain't homeless. No, you are homeless. It's okay. You know, it's so many stigmas tied towards, oh no, I don't need no medication. I ain't crazy. Oh, I don't need no medication. Oh, you crazy. I ain't crazy. Don't look at that as a bad thing. You know, there's help out there. You know, I just want to be able to help people to see that it's okay to be who you are, and that there's help out there, and if it's something I could do to offer, you know, that's what I want. That's my main mission and my main goal.
That was really great. Thank you.
I wanted to add, the reason why I want land too is because landscaping, horticulture is also, you know, very therapeutic, and I love nature and I love animals. So, you know, I know in prisons they started opening up a program for the guys where they allow them to train dogs and stuff like that. I have pets here. Those are my best friends. I love my pets. And I just want to be able to have enough space to be able to offer the services that are needed.
I watch a lot of documentaries and movies and shows about the system and how and I've learned that like there's so many different problems within it. Like, it's not just one thing. But after watching this documentary yesterday, I was introduced to even more specific problems. And we talk a lot about intersectionality in this class. And then, so this documentary showed me that there's like, or kind of like, yeah, it showed the intersectionality between homelessness, mental health, the system, incarceration, and like, there's so many different problems within the system. And it was so inspiring to see how you could like take all that you've learned from the system and experienced from the system, and with the help of programs like art programs, turn it into figure out ways where you can, change. It's hard to change the system, but like, find ways to support people who are not supported by the system, because the system is not supporting people at all. Like what you mentioned, 3 strikes, like it blows my mind how that still exists and how that was created. It's like in so many states, after you come out of prison, no matter what you did or how long you were in there, you can't vote anymore. Like that's ridiculous. Like it's a citizen's right to vote. So after you go to jail, even if it wasn't your fault, like you can't be a citizen anymore. Is that what you're saying? And one of my personal heroes is Brian Stevenson, and he says that if you like, the system treats you better if you're rich and guilty than poor and innocent. And yeah, like that. So then this documentary really like helps prove that point. But it also like, it says, yes, this is true, but there, like it doesn't end there. Like the people who are not supported by the system can like work their way. Like I'm sorry, I'm rambling, but like it was just really inspiring. I felt really emotional throughout the film, because I was able to see like the strength of the human spirit, like no matter how many times the system tries to knock you down. And also like what you were saying about when you're getting your grades done and you were talking about, how you want to trade your problems, because there's always going to be problems. Like that was one of my favorite parts, but it's like the problems that you want to have, and you can like the human spirit can like work towards leveling up no matter what. And anyway, it was really inspiring. And I guess I just want to ask if you're working on anything creative right now, like for yourself or for something small or big, or like also would you ever want to do another documentary or a film, even like write a film or anything like that? Or are you working on anything creative? Yeah,
I would love to. And I just want to touch on one thing. Thank you for that. But when you said Brian Stevenson, let me tell you something. When I went to jail after the film, and I was looking around on our times that we could come out for ourselves for a couple hours or whatever, there was a penal code book. And I'm looking at everybody like, don't y'all want to get out? Why y'all not looking at this penal code book to find out how you can fight your case? Then I go to the library and I found this book. It said Just Mercy. I said, let me take this to my cell and read it. Oh man, I got chills. You gonna make me tear up. That book helped me. How did y'all have that book? I brought it from Linwood County Jail. That book helped me get out of jail. That book helped me get out of jail. I read it. I went to the courtroom. I told them, I said, well, let's consider some of these mitigating circumstances. They looked at me, mind you, I'm a certified paralegal. So they looking at me, this is when I was in jail. They said, oh, let's bail her out. They looked at me, mitigated circumstances. What you know about this? So then they talked. I said, yes, I suffer from mental health. I was under the intoxication of alcohol during that time. Alternative sentencing. I need my case to get pushed over to drug court so I could get treatment. Because and then once I fought my case and showed that I was really innocent, the judge threw it out, cried, and gave me a hug. My Bible the penal code book, because I hit them with all the penal codes, you know, and then the in the Just Mercy book. Though that's what helped me get out of jail. And I went to the movie, and I went to the NAACP Awards, and I saw them, and I wanted to meet him so much. I wanted to shake his hand. I wanted to tell him thank you, man. Yes, the initiative of justice system, equal justice
Equal
system.
Justice
Yeah,
Initiative. Yeah.
man, yeah. Hey, big thumbs up on that film. He's a great attorney, advocate. Hey, I'm so happy that you said that. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. And so what am I doing now? Well, COVID started, so I did get picked 3 times for my favorite show, Snowfall. I just wasn't able to go work on there because, you know, stay-at-home orders and production closures. So I'm like, dang, what am I going to do? So I checked into this. It's a 3-part course with the SHARE program to become a peer specialist. So I completed 1 part. So I'm a certified peer specialist now, and I'm just writing up plans so that when COVID is done, I can get to work and get busy. So I'm taking guest speaking jobs here and there, promoting my film as much as I can, helping people that call me that need help with different resources to help them with either housing or different doctors or therapists. I'm just still actively involved, just living my life. Just living. I'm doing what I love, and I'm living my life. I mean, and I attend my support groups.
That's amazing. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you. Like, I wish I want more people to see these films and documentaries, because not everything, like I feel like most people only get to see things that are made with like big budgets and that get, you know, big blockbuster releases and stuff, but there's so much important stuff like this documentary that people need to see and be shared. But we are lucky that Just Mercy got out there. Such a good film. You guys should watch it. It has Michael B. Jordan and Jamie Foxx. They were so good in it. Yeah, you guys should watch it. But thank you so much.
But thanks, guys. I really, really appreciate that, and I appreciate your honesty as well. And I'm glad that we were able to open your eyes to something else, you know. So I appreciate you as well. What's up?
I mean, I just mainly have a comment, and I want to say that a very big thank you to you for speaking up today, because I think your story was really, really inspiring, and it just provided that extra depth beyond the actual documentary that we watched. And I know for Game Girls, it just really felt down to earth. Like just playing it here in my room, I felt like I was part of it, and like I was firsthand experiencing all like everything that was going on, and it just gave me so much more meaning than like only hearing about these things. And like it's portrayed by the media, like it's just not very real, I think, whereas this documentary just gave that kind of firsthand sense of like what's actually going on. And I think the story that you gave was really, really inspiring. And like documentary, it went like in depth, you know, we got to see all the perspectives and like how you were going around everywhere. But just hearing your story is really, really inspiring for me. So I just want to say thank you for that.
Thank you, Alvin. I appreciate you. Thank you. Were there any scenes of the film that you guys would like to speak on that may have touched you in a way where it was probably a bit too much, or, you know, I mean, domestic violence is also another issue. You know, that's very important, you know. There's a lot of issues that we bases on, you know. It's not a laughing matter at all. I'm a kind of goofy person, and you know, laughter for me is good for the soul. So if I can make light of my situation, I mean, you know, if I laugh, it's okay for you to laugh at it too. So, you know, if it's anything you guys like to touch bases on, that may have been a bit uncomfortable for you or something, go ahead and feel free.
Hi there, Roger here. So I was wanted to know a little bit more about your experiences during the time when you experienced homelessness. I think from the age of 16, and you
Yeah.
experienced homelessness for about 15 years. And I want to know a little bit more about your experiences then, and how did you overcome those challenges? Really.
Okay, I'm glad you asked. That came about because I come from a very religious background family, and some of the practices didn't condone my lifestyle. Which, as you guys know, I'm a lesbian woman. I mean that African American woman, and my family. I come from a pretty decent upbringing. Privilege is not always, black or white. I was raised a bit privileged as far as, my parents putting me in great schools, instilled a lot of great values, and don't smoke or drink. So I didn't see substance abuse. There was no abuse in my home. They gave us a great, I had a great childhood. We traveled. My father, he's an Air Force veteran, so he had a lot of discipline, and we were raised with discipline. I was raised pretty well, but then when I got into 15, 16, puberty age and stuff like that, curiosity age, and wanting to figure out who I am, I wasn't able to do that at my mother's house. So she put me out. I was called all kind of names, derogatory names and hurtful names or whatever. But I didn't want to let that break me. And I had other friends that were also experiencing that in their lives. So we were homeless. We were able to live with another friend whose mother was okay with all of us. She liked us and loved us. So my life turned into a party. We were just hanging out. I would go to school from time to time, but I didn't ever complete anything. I would work from here to there, but it was a party scene. So as I got older, that couldn't last forever. I had to be a self-sufficient adult. So this world is a cruel world, especially being prematurely kicked out of my house because of my sexuality. And, so my sexual orientation was something I had to struggle with for some time, because it wasn't really that much help out there. It wasn't hardly any help out there at all. And I would get bullied by guys because they feel I should be a certain way, or then some girls, people. It's kind of weird. Some people that are uncomfortable with who they are, they would like to impose their beliefs on you. Whether it's religious beliefs, whether it's a secret admirer, crush, they like you, but they don't know how to tell you because they don't want everybody else to think they gay. You know what I'm saying? All kind of like crazy stuff. Like, sometimes when you got money, people want to just be with you because of your status or who you are, what you're doing, or it was just, so being on the streets, living through all of that was pretty tough. And I'm a sweetheart. I look rough as hell. I know in the movie it started off, it's all these things playing part, but I'm a real sweetheart. But I had to develop this outer exterior to survive. You know what I'm saying? I had to survive. I had to survive. I couldn't punk out. I had to survive. And so I had to stand up for who I am, and this is just who I am. And I feel like nobody should impose their religious beliefs on me or their own preconceived judgments on how they feel about a person. And, so a lot of that played a role in employment. A lot of that played a role in housing. I mean, who gonna rent somewhere to me? I'm walking up with tattoos, trying to give up a application. They don't want me on their property. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm looking disheveled. I'm homeless. My hair is, in my head, I'm thinking I look decent, but it's showing, and so I'm being, you know, turned down from a lot of stuff, and then you know, when people are cruel, they want to attack you verbally with slang, you know. So you know, it's been pretty rough, but I learned how to grow tough skin, and then going to rehab and I learned so much that, like, what other people think about me is not none of my business. You know, it built me up. Like, you can't break me now. Like, I was toxic as hell back then. I probably still got a little toxic traits that I need to work on, but I have to learn how to love myself. And I couldn't love nobody or anything else until I had to learn that. And I didn't really I thought I loved myself, but I didn't know that until I did this exercise with this tree. This tree. It's this love tree. It's a self-love tree. And, you know, all these different parts of it. And I have to look into myself and say, wow, I'm lacking here, 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 here. Damn, I'm putting this person first, this. I'm not taking care of me, you know, in the way I'm supposed to. So I have to learn to love myself. And now that just built me up to know, you know, I'm not what they say I am. I'm not what, you know, they think I am. And I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, that's perfect. I mean, I know this is kind of out of topic, but I guess what really bothers me is that a lot of people don't really I think what the other two previous speakers were talking about was that about the stereotype of a lot of people not viewing homeless people as, like, you know, actual people with feelings and whatnot. Mostly the stereotype is either they're very lazy or they're drug addicts, right? And I guess there was an experience once where a couple of friends of mine after school were just talking like outside of the campus. And one of my friends was mentioning that he once almost got in a fight with some other kid from our class because of something that he said that really bothered him, right? And that he was almost at the close of beating him up. But right at that moment, suddenly there was this homeless man that came along. And he started talking about, like, why it wasn't a good solution to actually start with a fight. And so we started talking for maybe about like 30 to 40 minutes. And he mentioned a lot about his own experiences where at the age of 18, he was charged for murder during an armed robbery. And that he was, I think, incarcerated for about 10 to 20 years. I think it was 15 years, he mentioned. And once he got out, he ended up going into, he ended up falling to drugs and alcohol, essentially. And how that was the worst his worst mistake of his life, and we shouldn't really pursue that. You know, we shouldn't really pursue that. And that really gave me a view of how, you know, these people are also people too with like their own issues, like we do, right? And that we should consider them as like equals to our own. So thank you for sharing that.
I do want to say, you know, first of all, this has been so wonderful to have you here, Teri, today, and to just, you know, have this conversation, to hear your thoughts, to see you as an advocate now in this period in your life, to see how you're building all these skills of continuing, you know, with bringing the experience that you have into doing advocacy work rather than, you know, some outsider who just wants to do good work for others. And we're in the middle of, like you say, a COVID pandemic that's creating massive harm and homelessness and job loss. And we just had this, you know, white supremacist insurrection that just happened that, you know, there's you know, a lot of attacks against organizing in the Black population, against racism. You know, we're having this huge wave of rising consciousness about issues of police brutality, and asking, why are we having like militarized people dealing with mental health issues? Shouldn't we have counselors and advocates and, you know, much of the move in a very different direction? And you just bring so much to that, and your wealth of knowledge and experience, and what you bring in this film now, documented film, and the work that you're doing is just so valuable. And I'm so glad that we had an opportunity to meet you today, and really just wish you this next, like Helene was saying, in that, Helena, was about where you see yourself in a few years from now, like, and the creative work that you're engaging in, just to, see how you develop some of these goals that you have. And I'm definitely more than happy to work with you in terms of developing trauma-informed skills of creating safe environments and, all of those good things that you already know very well, but some of the language that we bring to it and some of the exercises that we do in drama therapy as well too. And you already have a great network of support of people nationally and internationally, really, that are willing to do that with you too. So it's really lovely to see that as well. Thank you again. Yeah.
I just want to know briefly how the documentary came to be, like how you guys got in contact with Alina and how it started.
Yeah.
All right. So once I got housing, as I mentioned earlier, it was downtown Skid Row, and I didn't want to. I felt I had an opportunity to do something different, and so I didn't want to hang out with my friends and all that stuff or whatever. So I would attend different groups, gardening groups, acupuncture, whatever I saw that was positive, I would just attend. So one day coming home from class, I saw this flyer that said if I was interested in doing workshops or, just having the expressive arts, I went that day and checked it out. From that day, I stayed going to the groups. It was very, very helpful. It was very nice. I learned what hummus was. We were eating celery and hummus, and they were offering little nice snacks. So, I felt I belonged there for that moment, because it couldn't last forever. I just, a group, drop in for an hour, 2 hours, and then you go on the rest of your day. But it was very helpful because after the group, I would leave with a better spirit, a better mindset. It helped me to continue my day. So they were filming that first day, and I was a part of it. And the film was actually supposed to be about all the women collectively in the group, in the workshops. But Alina wanted to do a film about a relationship, whether it was mother and daughter. She just kind of wanted to show, she really didn't really have too much of a direction. I just kind of believed in what she was doing. And prior to that, she did a movie on Skid Row with all men. So she wanted this one to be about all women. So I watched the one that she did about all men. So I kind of had an idea what she was trying to do. But this time, she didn't want to make the film just like, oh, look at people who are downtown Skid Row. She kind of wanted to incorporate drama therapy and all these other things into the film to get her message across the way that she did with this, so we just were filming, and then at the final cut, they showed it to us, and it was about me and Tiana. And the other women, they were happy. They were happy about it. But no one knew that it was going to be just about me and Tiana. So the story writer, the story advisor, William Shepard, I guess during the editing process, he said, "Hey, let's talk about this, because these are some of the issues. Every time she calls us out to come film or we're together, these are issues that need to be addressed, So that's pretty much how the film came about, and here it is today. And I'm very proud about that. No manager, no agent. It wasn't a casting call. It wasn't scripted. everything you saw in there was real.
Thank you. That's the best,
You're welcome.
best like thing about like this film, I think. Like this is a really unique piece of like documentary filmmaking that I've seen. It's awesome.
Yeah, and we still get the richness of some of the connections and the stories from the different women in the drama therapy group as well too. But we get snippets of it. I mean, you know, the whole documentary, like you said, could have been just on those sessions and some of the stories that people were sharing. But we got enough of to get a sense of the power of some of those stories that people shared as well too. Yeah. But very much
because one of my favorite parts actually in the documentary is Sylvia's analogy during the workshop. You know, Sylvia is one of the other ladies that's a part of Game Girls, and she's the one that was speaking on what is it's the sea, it's the ocean of Skid Row, and these are like the hustlers, these are the drug dealers, these are the people trying to get by, and then this is the donkey, and like, what do you know about Skid Row? What do you know about the ocean? You're a donkey. You don't know nothing. You just on the outside saying you're gonna help. You want to help, but you're not even trying to learn how to swim to reach the people that's in the ocean to find out what they need to help them. So you really on the outside being an ass. You know what I mean? So that was I really appreciated Sylvia for that analogy as well. When she incorporated that through our exercise, I really liked that a lot. Thank you all for participating. Thank you all for your questions, even the ones that were silent. I still hear your questions. I appreciate you, even your presence, just for being here. I thank you for listening, hearing me out. I thank you, Professor, for having me. The gratitude is endless. Like, thank you. I'm happy to be able to share this with you all.
We thank you so much.
Taco says hi.
Thank you, Teri, and I'm really glad we connected, and I look forward to working with you more in the future as well too.